Okay guys, so everybody's been talking about the pros and cons of the new aluminum F-150 pickups that have been out for a couple of years. And I'm not going to get into that debate right now, but one of the things that you don't have to worry about if you have an aluminum truck is cab corner rust. And this may be hard to see the bubble right there? Now, as you know, if you've watched my other videos, this is a 2013 model truck. So it is 5 years old now. It's got 119,000 miles on it. So it's not exactly what you'd call a new truck. I understand that. But these things are over $40,000 nowadays. And this one has been pretty well cared for. Yes, it's dirty right now because I do use it as a truck. But it gets washed frequently. In the wintertime, I take real good care of it. There's not really any other rust on the frame. I mean, the frame's pretty clean on there, see? I mean, it's pretty well cared for truck. So when you come outside and you look at your cab corners and you see rust bubbling up inside there and you know that there's some cancer already forming on the inside, it's kind of discouraging. And I've heard guys talk about this, and some of them have said that they've been charged upwards of $2,000 to $3,000 to have the cab corners cut out of these trucks and repaired properly at a body shop. So since mine's not real bad yet, I mean, you know, some of them I've seen, if you did this, your hand would go right through the hole there. This one is just starting. You can see how it's obviously got rust on the inside, but it's just starting to get to the point where it's noticeable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and spray a little bit of stuff inside there. Went over to Lowe's and I got some of this rust neutralizer. Now, I know there's all kinds of products out there to neutralize rust with, and you guys can comment below if you've got something better to use than this, but this is just what I found at the local Lowe's. So I'm going to get inside here today and try to patch this up by spraying a little bit of that stuff in here. Now, I have already covered this back up. From the factory, these holes on the inside of the rockers are covered up with something similar to this, but the tape they put on there from the factory tends to get loose and come off over time. So I've already covered this one back up with some zip tape, which is made for like exterior house trim or something. I'm going to take that off, and because we're back here at the back of the rockers where we're at, just for reference. There we go. And I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to spray that rust neutralizer in here and try to get as many of the spots as I can, and then I'm going to go through here on the inside of the rocker and I'm going to tape up all the holes down through there that I can. I'm going to tape them back up and try to seal this off. Now, at the back of your rocker, you've got this hole right here, this seam, and a lot of guys have said that they feel like maybe water gets in through there and then it sits down in the bottom of the rocker down here and it can't get out. Maybe that's the problem. So we're going to take a look at that and try to get that patched up. Okay, so once you pull that tape off, and I know it's not going to be real easy to see on the cell phone camera here, I'm doing the best I can with what I've got to work with, but you can look in there and you can see the inner portion of what is your rocker panel. And as you can see right there, I don't have a lot of rust showing right inside the hole. Unfortunately, I don't have a light, so I can't show you down inside the corner where the rust is actually forming. So what I'm going to have to do, I guess, is just try and aim this stuff back into the corner and spray as much of it back in there as I can. So we'll give that a whirl. Spray a little bit of this stuff in here, see how far I can get it. Alright, so I got these holes sprayed, and I even sprayed some in the back of the seam up here. At the back of the rocker, I sprayed it in there the best that I could. Tried to get it down inside where the rust is forming down in there. It's kind of hard to get to because there's actually two layers. Inside here there's another layer of sheet metal in there, so it's hard to get. It's got a smaller hole in it, so it's hard to get it down in there. If you had one of those cool mechanics cameras on the, on the flexible stick that you could put down in there and see what's going on, then maybe you could do a little bit better job than what I did. Oh goodness. So anyway, we did that, and out here on the outside, I'm really debating on whether or not I should go ahead and chip that paint off and sand it down a little bit. There goes somebody jamming. Nice day out here, everybody's happy. But comment below, some of you guys are a lot more experienced than I am with this. Should I go ahead and chip that off and sand it down and paint that, or should I leave it alone out of fear that I might do more damage than what it's worth to mess with it? Let me know what you think. One other thing that I did is I checked my third brake light, because a lot of guys have said that their third brake light leaked. So I came up here on the third brake light and ran a clear, since my truck is silver, it doesn't really stand out all that bad. I ran a bead of clear silicone around it. The third brake light has also been sealed on the inside around the gasket, but I went ahead and put that bead of clear silicone around the outside as well, just to give it another layer of protection out there. I know it doesn't look the best, but again, this is a silver truck, and from a distance you can't really tell it, and I figured that a little bit of silicone sticking out is better than having $3,000 worth of rust damage on your truck. So just in case that's where the water's coming from, I decided to go ahead and seal that off pretty well too. So those are the things that you're going to want to check. Now, if you've got a sunroof on your truck, which I don't, the sunroof tubes, from what I'm being told, come down on the back of the truck here, and they drain down into that area of the rocker panel as well. So if you've got a sunroof, you might want to check your drain tubes. Make sure those don't get clogged up, and make sure that the tube is actually sticking out, because sometimes the drain tubes just drain into the rocker panel, which obviously is not good. So you can reach in there, grab that tube, pull it out of that hole that I just showed you a minute ago, make sure it's draining outside if you've got a sunroof. So those are the three things that I've heard of that I've been told that can cause this problem. So if you've got an F-150 pickup, you might want to check those three things out. Now that I got that rust neutralizer sprayed in there, I'm going to go down through the inside of that rocker and cover up all those holes that I showed you with tape. Any tape that's missing, I'm going to replace it with this zip tape. Zip tape is just for outside trim use mainly. That's what I've seen it used for, but this stuff is really, really good for covering up those holes on the other side of those rockers. So we'll keep an eye on this and see if it gets any worse. I really, really hope it doesn't. You know, looking down the rest of my rockers, I don't really have any rust, you know, on my doors. Looking pretty good for a truck of this age. So far this is the only spot that's really showed itself, and hopefully it won't get any worse. Let me know what you guys think, and if anything else you've come up with to combat this problem, comment below. Thanks.